The photo was old, its edges were soft. He held it carefully. A man and a woman. They were smiling, or perhaps they once smiled. Now the smiles looked like ghosts. He sat alone in his quiet room. The only sound was his own breathing. A heavy sigh. Her face in the picture. It was a face he knew well. Too well. He remembered her laughter, like wind chimes on a summer day. Now, only silence filled the spaces. His heart felt like a stone, a cold, heavy stone in his chest. Regret was a bitter taste, always there on his tongue. So many years had passed. He traced her outline with his finger. The paper was worn smooth there. What if he had said different words? What if he'd made different choices? These questions haunted his quiet hours. They were like shadows in the corners, uninvited guests who never left. He wished they would disappear. The room felt small, smaller than usual. The photograph was a window to a life that was gone. Or maybe a life that never truly was. He closed his eyes for a moment. The weight of the past pressed down. It was a familiar weight, too familiar, like an old coat. A coat he could not take off. He opened his eyes again. The room was still the same dusty furniture, but something inside him felt different, a tiny shift, like a page turning in a silent book. He looked at the photograph, really looked at it this time. The sorrow was still there, deep inside. But something else was stirring softly. Maybe it was the dust motes, dancing in the single ray of light, or the distant sound of a train going somewhere new, far away. He didn't know why. But a thought came to him, clear and sharp, like a tiny bell. Enough, just one word, but it felt important. Final. Letting go was a scary idea, like stepping off a cliff in the dark. The past was known, familiar, even in its pain. Even its pain was a companion. The future was a blank page, an empty road stretching on. What would he write there? Who would he become? He felt a tremor of fear, but then another feeling, a small spark deep within. Hope, perhaps, or just the simple need to breathe fresh air, clean air. The photograph felt heavy in his hand. Suddenly too heavy to hold. He stood up slowly. His legs felt a little unsteady. He needed to move. He needed to go somewhere else. He found himself by the sea. The wind was strong here. It whipped his hair across his face. The waves crashed against the shore. A constant rhythm, an old song, loud and powerful. The air smelled of salt and distance. He walked towards the water's edge. The sand was cool beneath his bare feet, each grain a tiny, separate thing. The sea was vast, grey and endless today. It stretched to the horizon line. It didn't care about his sorrow or his many regrets. It simply was. He stood there for a long time, the photo still in his hand. The wind tried to snatch it away. He held on tighter for a moment, then he knew what to do. It felt like the only thing, the only possible action left. He raised his arm slowly. His fingers loosened their grip. The photograph fluttered for a moment, caught by the strong sea wind. Then it sailed out over the water. It landed gently on a wave, a small paper boat. The wave carried it away, further and further out. It became a small speck. Then it was gone from sight, swallowed by the grey, indifferent sea. He watched until he could see it no more. A strange feeling washed over him. Not happiness, not yet, but a kind of emptiness. A clean slate, waiting. He turned from the sea. Nearby, his motorcycle waited. It was an old machine, but strong and reliable. Its chrome glinted dully in the grey light. It was more than just a machine. It was a promise of something, a promise of movement, of escape, of a new journey, a different path to take. He walked towards it. His steps felt lighter now. He looked at his reflection in the motorcycle's polished tank. His eyes, they were different somehow. The deep sorrow was still there, a shadow. But now a new light flickered within, a spark of something like resolve, a quiet decision made. The future was unknown, a road stretching into mist. There would be new towns, new faces he did not know, maybe new mistakes too, but they would be his own, not echoes of the old ones. He thought of the open road, the hum of the engine beneath him, the wind rushing past. He swung his leg over the seat. The leather felt cool and familiar. He put his hands on the handlebars. A sense of purpose settled in him. Quiet but strong. He would not look back, not anymore. He started the engine. Its roar cut through the silence. He looked ahead, only ahead.